Albania, and I was clearing up. But yeah, I walked back here and instantly started blooming again.
Yeah. Well, it's East Texas, so
Right.
it is what it is.
Right, I am.
And I got back, and we had a grandchild that I didn't know about. I knew about her, but I didn't know she was at her home.
I'm about to say,
But
you missed a lot in 10 days.
I'll clarify.
But say,
then
wow, you got a new grandkid.
And then
you
we
didn't
had
know
another
about.
one come in Friday. And we've been blowing and going, and I'm just worn out.
So are you jet lagged?
I don't know if that's it or not. I almost think the answer is no. I didn't sleep on the plane coming back, and then when I hit the bed, I was out.
Yeah,
And,
I laid down about the normal time I go normally to bed, and I woke up about the normal time I wake up.
So I don't know.
And I haven't missed a beat yet.
I haven't made enough long distance trips that would involve jet lag to be able to tell, but if this is what I imagine it would feel like. Well, yeah,
I've never made an international flight, so
I don't know.
Well, I know going up there, I didn't have any problems at all. And there again, I think it was because we hit the bed about the normal bedtime, and had to get up and get rolling and get moving. So it was like whatever. I think I woke up about 2:00 for about 30 minutes, but that's not uncommon for me in the middle of the night anyway. So all I got to do is shut my brain off, which sometimes takes takes a minute to do, and my mind at that point was pretty easy to turn off because I was just exhausted. But coming back, I got to thinking about it in a plane. I thought, well, we started traveling essentially when we woke up. When I was flying out there, I woke up, at my normal time.
and it was all day. Y'all's flight didn't leave until that night.
Right, exactly. So I'd been up all that day.
Right.
And then I was essentially up another day. So it was a pretty long day once we got up there. So
And I kind of dozed a little bit on the flight over, but I didn't.
I don't know how long those flights were, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna get credit for them in any service that I have. But American Airlines, I'm about 820,000 miles. I've never slept on the airplane ever, and that's several flights from Dallas to Hong Kong, which was about 7 hours longer than the flight that we took.
It was 11 plus hours.
So right at 11,
11.
in physically in the airplane to get from Dallas to Istanbul. Yeah.
And then layover of a couple of hours, and then an hour and a half in the air again.
Yeah, we essentially just went.
We just went over into Skopje, Macedonia, and then we essentially out to eat, back to hotel, bedtime.
Yeah.
And so we got the next morning early, and we started traveling.
Yeah, towards Albania. Towards Lake Ochre. I always wanted to call it Ochre.
Yeah, OHRID. But they put a C in there.
And in the pronunciation pronunciation.
Yes.
And then like Podogress.
Protogress.
No.
Protogress.
No. Podadech. It's a TZ on the end.
Yeah, Podadech.
Pogradets. That's it.
Okay.
Pogradets.
That's it. What he said.
Pogradets.
I couldn't. I
keep wanting to put a PRO at the front. That's incorrect. Pogradets. The R is in the second syllable.
Yeah.
But one of our drivers took me aside and said, "This is how you pronounce it." And he said, "It sounds like a TZ. The T is not always. It doesn't sound like it's pronounced, but it is. And then you cut off your Z." And I'm going, easy for you to say, But no. We might as well get started and just we were supposed to take our granddaughter back to her house, and her parents decided to come get her.
Okay.
But they brought pizza. So
That's that. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to pizza.
no, but I tell you what. Excuse me. There was great pizza over there.
There was. We had it several nights.
There was great pizza.
Yeah, and I think we found the best pizza the last
night was the
Right.
best pizza.
Right. I think, yeah. That
Two
was,
doors down from our hotel.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
It's always the closest place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and we'll tell some stories and
Well.
some stuff you didn't hear this morning. And
Yeah.
but I think that's the flavor of it is the people and what we did in ministry.
Yeah, I was impressed with the people. Not only the people that we were immediately around, like Jordan and Artie.
Ulti and Artie.
Yeah. They were just impressive people. They were extremely focused on the Lord and doing the Lord's work and ministering people, in Macedonia and Albania. Now, Jordan more Macedonia and Albania, Artie more Albania.
Yes.
He was. I mean, they were focused on what they were doing, and it was somewhat refreshing to see that kind of dedication in people.
That's awesome.
Both of them had hard upbringings. Jordan actually, I don't know that I'm telling any tales, and I mean, he told us, so I'm assuming that it's part of his testimony, but, he was involved in drugs, wound up, getting in prison. And this would have been roughly, towards the tail end of the communist rule in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about desperate people, even back then. You kind of got the sense that there was a relief when communism fell. The Christians were kind of hiding in the bushes. And when communism fell, it gave them an opportunity to come out of the woodwork.
But first they had to go through that vacuum.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
What's going to happen next? And there was some
Who's
concern.
going to happen next?
Yeah. Artie didn't talk much about the Civil War time other than it wasn't good.
I can imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
Civil War is never good,
No.
whichever place it's at.
Well, but the outcome was, like I said this morning, a constitutional republic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And all the reading that I did deeper than that was there were some honest, hard struggles in there, and
It came out for the better.
Came out for the better. But I had a sense as I looked at the people in Bangladesh, especially, that there was a sense of we are free.
Yeah.
They've only had 30 years of it, 35 years of it. And
That's my lifespan. I'm 39. I mean,
Right.
and so you
that's
would not have
great.
remembered or maybe just had impressions of a
right.
Right.
totalitarian regime.
Right.
But,
That's insane to me.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right.
Jordan
but somebody
was-
like
Jordan was older.
Yeah.
Is older than you. He's in his
Yeah.
mid to late 40s.
40s. Right.
And so he said he was about 14 to 16. He has very vivid memories of it.
Right.
His wife, Vesta, has extreme memories of it because of the brutality of the communists and the socialists in Serbia and what they did. And as they were getting out, the rape of 800 women in the town square, making people watch, and then they killed them.
Right.
And
Mm.
going,
And she was there.
She was
this
there.
was Jordan's wife. She
obviously
saw it. Yeah.
She obviously not one of them, but she saw it.
Yeah.
And
I don't.
they just let those guys go wild, and they did.
Yeah.
And it was inhuman.
Right.
And but the Serbians and the Macedonians were not people that worked
No.
well together, but these two met, fell in love, and
Right.
it's worked.
Yeah, it's kind of a touching story.
It is a very touching story, but God's faithfulness to rescue them both and to bring them to where they are today is an amazing story.
Right.
You know, and normally the stories that we hear about God saved me here in America was I just wasn't going the right way. Maybe drugs and alcohol, maybe I robbed a bank.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Normal stuff. And
Yeah, but these are people who've lived through some, you know, rough times.
some stuff we
Civil
can't
War,
imagine.
Oh yeah.
right? Communism, dictatorships. Yeah, and I mean when all of that stuff was going south, you know, I can remember pictures of that area, you know, and just the concern on people's face because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, do you recall back in those days in the 90s when if you heard the word Kosovo or you heard Serbia, and the picture that came to my mind were their fighters, their paid fighters, not their armies, but the guys on the side that did the dirty work, that did the wet work,
Right.
and how ruthless and how utterly vicious.
Yeah.
And if you wanted somebody dead,
Yeah.
those are the guys, and you didn't go up against them. And I remember those things in some very vivid images of them on film in an attack.
Yeah.
And so here we are, 35 years removed from that. Of course, we don't know those inner workings anymore at all. We didn't know it then, I didn't, for sure. But
Well, I got to give
it's part of the nature of that country,
right.
and in the normalization of sin, the normalization of not just sin, but capital S-I-N, you know,
Right.
big stuff.
Right.
And that was just out in the square, out for people to see, and we're beginning to see that.
Yeah. No.
And people fighting to, I want to maintain this. This is my vision of America.
Yeah.
Well, it's not mine. And but somehow God reached through all that, and He put people together, and here we are today, able to go and aid and lend a hand, not to show them what to do.
Right.
No, they know.
They know what to do.
That was one of the most moving services that I've been in years.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying anything bad about us, not saying anything bad about Tim
Well, I think it's
preaching.
okay.
I mean,
It's okay to
but
say Tim's. Yeah.
well, I mean, Tim was one of the ones that was preaching.
Tim was there. He was, and he did
and
preach, yeah.
actually, Tim touched me that day
Yeah.
with what he was talking about, and
Now we've got
But it
great
was
leadership here, and put it up against people from someplace else.
yeah, and I didn't realize it either. I was the only non-deacon that was a male in the bunch, you know.
But
So
Tim gives good leadership here, and but I saw that reflected in Ulti and Artie and in Jordan.
Yeah.
And so
right,
it pleased my soul and it moved my soul. But what I think moved my soul most was just people.
yeah, I would
and how
have
they
to say that.
responded.
I would have to say that too. You got at least one better story than I do about that, and I'm kind of hoping you'll share it here on this and share it more
Well,
when
I
we
will,
do it.
but-
yeah. So
Are we going to introduce ourselves formally? Or are we going to?
So for those of you who have been watching, as you can tell, I've let the timer run because when y'all began talking, this is stuff I didn't want to miss. So we just jumped right in, Welcome back to the Areography. Guys, first off, if you enjoy this show, please like, share, and subscribe, and so we can spread this as far as we can. We're just a group of guys here who were just trying to talk about God and Christ and just share the word and just do as we're told in the Great Commission and just share the gospel and the good news of Christ. As y'all have seen the past couple of weeks, it's been just me and Shane. It's because these two men were traveling for 2 days in 3 different countries over 8 days?
Yeah.
In Albania. Yeah. So they got back with us. It was this past Wednesday evening. You text around 6:30 saying wheels were on the ground, something like that. Right. So
the time we got back, and I mean, really and truly, time we got back, it was 11. Yeah.
That's why we got back here.
Yeah,
and got picked up.
And for
those of you in the studio audience that are going, Albania? It's on the other side of the world. Excuse me. Imagine Italy, boot, and the hill comes down. Where that hill comes down in Italy,
head east.
Go straight east. Head straight across the Adriatic Sea, and there's Albania. It's a population of about 8 million people, I think.
Yep, that's close.
And it's a great place to be. And that's where we were. Macedonia is just next door to the east. Both Macedonia and Albania sit contiguously on top of Greece. To the north of Greece. Yeah. So the two countries above Greece, Albania to the west, Macedonia to the east.
Okay.
You don't even have to get out your World Book encyclopedias to look it up.
Now you know exactly where it is.
Now you know exactly. 6,000 plus miles in the air from DFW.
So I want to hear the story that Scott was just talking about. Scott, I want to hear about the lady who came and talked to you more than once. You said that she was Catholic, married to a Muslim. I'm curious. I'm still curious about that. But I want to start before that with some humor.
All right.
And I want to hear what it was like walking a mile through the Istanbul airport.
Tiring.
Wore me out. Yeah. I'm going, this sucker doesn't end.
Y'all were literally from gate to gate was a mile.
Yeah. I timed it on my watch. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just felt like they could have dropped us off here.
Yeah.
And then driven the plane around.
It would have been easier.
It would have been easier.
Yeah.
No, they didn't take my
advice. But we essentially went from one end of the airport to the other end.
And there was a little bit more left.
Yeah.
There were a 3 more gates on beyond us, but we were pretty much at the end.
Yeah.
And it was a mile.
Huge.
In the middle of it, reminded me of any mall that you would have walked into 20 years ago. Stores everywhere. Okay, let's name the American. Okay, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, we saw that. There was McDonald's. Yep. Burger King. Those were the ones that struck me. They're probably Slim Chicken.
Slim Chickens. That's right. Slim Chickens.
We saw that. And of course, I don't call it Slim Chicken. I call it freaking chicken.
Well,
whatever.
But so we saw those, and then there was just all kinds of gift shops.
Oh yeah. Well,
And-
gift shops, nothing. You know, it was like Cartier and
Oh yeah, it was some
high
pretty,
end stuff. You know.
pretty high end stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Coach and Gucci and all those were there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And duty
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. They're duty free. You could have bought about anything you wanted to drink or smell like, and in places. Yeah.
Or smell like your drink.
Yeah. Either one.
You know. Or drink
I'm sure
yourself.
they probably had some bay rum in there. Yeah, that you could have splashed behind your ear.
Well, I didn't see anybody going in there, but
Yeah.
from our group. But we also met 2 new people
Right.
when we got to Istanbul, and they were a couple from North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
He was a deacon in the church, and then she was really involved in ministry there.
Yeah.
And
Great people.
we just
Yeah,
it was almost
it's like,
instant.
Yeah, it was like we'd been family for
for years.
Awesome.
And so we ministered well together and talked.
And so were they in y'all's group?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, but before he tells you about this lady,
Yes.
let's set up the ministry. What we were actually
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
at night.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it'll be in context.
And so how many nights out of that 8 did y'all actually street preach? Or
5, wasn't it?
5. Well,
5.
it should have been 5.
Should have been 5. We
you
got, rained
rained
out.
out one.
you said.
Rained out one for sure, and we got rained out for about half of another.
Yeah,
Okay. So you got a good 4 nights in.
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
bad.
We
Yeah,
stayed.
that's
When we
awesome.
stayed a while. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like we just were there 5 minutes and, you know, see you later, load up the car, and drive back home.
And it was a few hours
Oh,
each
yeah.
night.
each night.
Yeah, I never did time it, and every time I thought about it, I was going to do it, and got busy doing something else. But so, yeah, for those playing the home game, we were there with a ministry group, and Randy is an artist and does chalk art with fluorescent chalk at some points in his drawing, and
He
It's
does
just-
beautiful work.
yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic work. And he generally did about 7 drawings a night.
Oh, wow.
So that's how long we were out there. I mean, you
Okay.
think about, were you
I
at the
came
revival?
both
Right,
times he
Yeah.
was here, and
What?
you're talking a half hour on each one,
right.
or here.
Well, now he was talking,
Right.
and then, so they were preaching, and when I say they, I'm talking about Artie and his church or his group was doing the preaching in Albanian, and he was drawing while they were preaching. So it wasn't like, you know, Randy preached and then he turned around and drew.
Okay.
So there was a little less time, but I would say there was probably a good 15 or 20 minutes per drawing, easy.
Yes, easily. And of course, then he had a blacklight bank behind his head.
Yeah,
He turned on the blacklight, and the chalk took on different dimensions.
right.
Mhm.
And that's when we got the big ooh and ah from the kids
Right.
watching, and
Right.
from the adults there. I mean, it's
Right.
very impressive.
Right. So, anyways, that's what we were doing. We were there. We were there in the crowd while Randy and the Albanian folks were preaching. So we were handing out our testimonies. We were handing out some little magnets that we had made that were in the shape of the state of Texas. And had John 3:16 written in it.
Okay. I was going to
In Albania, yeah.
and ask about them and the magnets. Because I heard you mention twice this morning something about a Texas magnet.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And did they like go to Walmart and buy a bunch of the Texas shaped magnets and just
No,
pass,
we actually
and
had-
right
just
down-
them and
Right
pass
down
those
Main
out?
Street here. That's what we got. We got them here locally,
Yeah.
and they just shape of Texas,
Texas.
and up in the Panhandle was Gospel Connect. That's who we were
Yeah.
with in White House Baptist Church, First Baptist,
Yeah.
and then beneath that was John 3:16 in Albanian.
Okay.
And so it's just like a flat refrigerator magnet. You stick on your magnet
That's
on
awesome.
your fridge, and we gave those away, and those were hot items. I think
Yeah.
we took 260,
60?
somewhere
Yeah.
along in there, and we gave them all away.
Yeah.
I still have 2.
Right.
But
I think I have 5.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm not
half
going
dozen.
back till next time to
Yeah.
give them out. But that wound up being a big hit. We were the first group in Albania to do this with Gospel Connect,
Okay.
Which is Randy.
which is Randy Fair and Debbie Fair's
Ministry.
organization.
Yeah.
And so we did this in plazas.
Mm-hmm.
Which there again, to me,
Which-
was a rather interesting concept. Now, I don't know, most of the villages that we were in, I would say, population-wise, were probably smaller than White House. With the
Yes,
exception of
Corche,
where we got
Corche?
Corche, which was what, about
I
45,000,
think 45,000.
right around in there. Which, in that neck of the woods, that was a big city.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I mean, White House, I think, is per city limit sign is barely 8,300.
Yeah, it would be
So-
way less than that. And
Yes.
I would say in 2 of the villages that we were in, we were probably
Much
less
less.
than 1,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all of them had this town square that was there.
Plaza
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
it was a plaza kind of thing that was lit. I
Mhm.
mean, there were street lights in it. Kids playing, kids kicking around soccer ball. Moms, grandparents. Older people sitting around on the benches. Drinking coffee. Having a good time, talking to one another. And it was a rather. I don't know of any other word to say other than carefree. I mean, it
Okay.
just seemed that it was a pleasant, carefree. It seemed like that's what they did in the evenings.
All the time.
Right,
Yes.
right. It didn't look like that this
No.
was a special event just
No.
because a bunch of Texans showed up.
And this was just their normal way. And
It certainly appeared that way.
It appeared that way to us in
Okay.
in most of the situations because there were always people there when we got there. So it wasn't us showing up that brought the people. The people were already there.
Okay.
We just may have drawn a little bit more of a crowd because
And around this plaza, in this first night especially, when he's going to tell the story about this lady, it was mostly apartment buildings all the way around. There were some businesses on the,
Mhm.
I guess on the south side. I don't know, since the direction was gone, but there were a few businesses on the lower floors.
Hmm.
But I'd say 90% were apartment buildings. And then behind those, it was in a little valley because we had to come back through some switchbacks, and but there were mountains all around it.
Yeah.
But it was clean. It was well lit,
Mhm.
uniformly done on the ground, and people were having a good time. And then all of a sudden, a couple of vans pull up, people dogpile out, and they start setting up sound equipment and Randy's easel and his lights and all that kind of stuff. And
next thing you know, there was a bunch of people standing around going, "What's up?"
And that sound funny too.
Yeah, talk real funny.
But what we did was some people handed out those little glow sticks,
Mm-hmm.
little flexible ones, and you could clamp them around your
Yeah.
wrist and stuff.
And you saw
Kids
that
lined up.
picture.
It was a feeding frenzy for those. And
Oh,
in
yeah.
the state of Texas, they liked those. And while that was going on, Artie got up that first night especially, and he just held forth. He began to preach,
Mhm.
and people were listening. We got opportunity to speak to people,
Right.
and it's against the law to go and proselytize anybody 12 and younger. In fact, I even asked a couple of kids that third night especially,
Yeah.
how old are you?
Yeah.
You know, and but so
I
we had
like
to be.
that. Coming from our current culture and half of the country's worldview, to hear that there's a law 12 and under you can't solicit to,
Mhm.
I like that. I mean, to me, that's just awesome.
I mean, if they're going to ask me a question, I'm going to answer it, but
Right.
I would be careful about that. And but mostly, I tried to talk to adults who were
Right.
standing there. and I found a couple of guys that I spent a good amount of time talking to that night.
Yeah.
But with all that set up as give you a picture of this plaza, people, drawing, preaching going on, and a beautiful evening. It was just a perfect evening.
Yeah.
Then this lady walks up.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, Scott.
Yeah. She came. Actually, I walked up to her, and told her who I was. You know, I introduced myself, and I said that I'm from Texas. Well, instantly she recognized Randy and what was going on, and she said, "Oh, y'all have been here before." And I said, "Well, ma'am, I haven't been here before, but yes, Randy has been here before. You know, doing his thing." And he specifically said that he's been in here in this village. And she goes, "I remember him. I wanted to rent a picture so bad, you know, the first time that he was here."
Yeah,
that,
we didn't say that.
Huh?
Because we didn't say that about winning the picture. Tickets were also given out.
Yeah.
Double ticket, then you put one in the pot, and you give one to the person.
Right.
And then they, excuse me, they are entered into the drawing. And Randy did
seven
pictures or so
Yeah.
at a night.
Yeah.
So 7 people would walk away
with
With a picture.
with the picture.
Yeah. And you know, all of them, well, they progressed. Now, the first one that he always did was a cowboy.
Okay.
He did a picture of a cowboy, and that was the first one that he gave away. And to me, the pictures progressed in their message. So the first picture had some Christian symbolism in it. I mean, all of them did. But by the time you got to the last one, and I call this one his you know, piece de resistance. It was generally Christ with the crown, and there was a mount. You know, there were the hills with the 3 crosses on it.
Yes.
You know, that's generally the picture that he ended the evening with.
Okay.
So, you know, you kind of progressively got that Christian message in his drawings up to that point. You know,
Okay.
Christ's cross. You know, so and I thought that was always good the way that they did it. And what Artie was telling me is he was progressing with the story. You know, just like Randy was.
Okay.
So anyways, the lady recognized what was going on. And there again, she was freely talking, you know, "Oh yeah, we had so much fun and it was so great and the kids liked it, you know, and we were here and, you know, it was just a wonderful time." And she goes, "And by the way, I'm Catholic." And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, where's the church?" You know, wouldn't you, you know,
Yeah.
first question would be was, "Where's the
Where is
church?"
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sitting here looking around, and she goes, "Well, I haven't been to church in a long time." And I said, "Well, are you from this area?" And she said, "Well, no, I kind of, you know, moved here." And, you know, she kind of hem-hawed around about that. So, anyways, I would take it that she's more of a secular, you know, Catholic at this point. Now, there again, she may have practiced some stuff in there, and she was, you know, doing the sign of the cross occasionally. So it sounded like that she was at least, you know, understood who Jesus was and all of that. So anyways, I handed her a magnet, and she was the first person that I handed my testimony to. I said, "You know, I'd like for you to have this too." We weren't supposed to be handing out stuff that night, so I kept on sneaking stuff in that we. I don't know why we weren't supposed.
We're not good rule followers sometimes.
We were supposed to. Yeah, we were supposed to be observing that night. You know, kind of hanging off and doing that. But anyways, we were handing out magnets, and I did hand out my testimony to her. She was the only one that night that I did. But anyways, she would come back every now and again and talk to me. Now, it wasn't anything that was real profane or profound, you know. She would just come back and say, "Oh, hey, you know, are you still enjoying yourself? Is everything going okay?" You know. She actually offered to go get us something to drink if we needed it, and I went, "No, I'm cool, you know, I'm okay." But anyways, at one point, her husband wasn't there, and I think originally she said, I'm Catholic and I'm married to a Muslim, and I think the first thing I asked was, well, how does that work? Is that okay? And she goes, well, we get along, and it doesn't get in the way. And I went, oh, okay. Well, if it works for y'all, more power to you. Well, he wasn't there, and then he was there, and the instant that our eyes locked and he was there, she marched him over and introduced him to me.
Okay.
So, and it was like I got to talk to him for a little while, and he thanked me for coming out. He, wow, you came all the way from Texas to here, and, hey, Albania, sounded pretty cool place to go, and Randy, said it was a pretty cool place, so why not?
Right.
So they were impressed that there again, Texas wouldn't want to go that far to get to Albania. So, anyways, there was about 4 times that evening that, she was actually looking around, and when she saw me, a beeline to me, which I thought was kind of special. I really did.
Yeah. Well, she talked to me a couple of times, but her lead with me was that I'm a Christian, and I'm a Catholic. Then she'd do the sign of the cross, but she hadn't been in a while. Same pretty much impression. And then I met her husband. He was very nice and shook hands and good eye contact. No saying you're a bad guy to us. And we visited for a few minutes, and then
then they went their way and we went and then we went our way,
planting seeds and watering other things. But we got to talk to, I got to talk to several more adults, because that's really who I tried to focus on.
It seems like the kids, now there were a couple of kids that kept on coming back to me, and I think it was more, well, I like international soccer. I don't make any qualms about liking it. And so there were a bunch of kids with soccer uniforms on, different international teams with different international players. So it gave me an out to go talk to them, so, hey, so you like, well, I like this guy, oh, he's, and, so we were doing that kind of stuff with the kids. And there was one kid at one time that had a skateboard. I think that was that first night.
You didn't ride the skateboard,
did
you?
I wanted to.
The gleam in his eye. And I could see the brain. I could see the wheels of his brain. The squirrel just going. And I'm 50 feet away. I'm going, Scott. No. Not at least till I get my camera out.
So, anyways, no, I didn't. Well, I had on my hiking boots, and if I would have had on any other shoe, I would have at least tried to do one kick flip. I'd at least tried it once. Now that I may have fallen and killed myself, and everybody in the plaza
into the back of the van and taking him with us.
Yeah, everybody in the plaza might have laughed at me, but I was at least going to give it a college try.
Oh my gosh!
But anyway, so no, I did not get on.
Well, I'm thankful for your hiking boots, Scott.
Yeah, I did not get on the skateboard, but I did want to. It did cross my mind, and it crossed my mind several times. so anyways, Eddie's got a much better story, and this happened the second night. So I'm gonna segue into Eddie's story. It's probably one of the coolest things
we've
seen.
had. We've had one under our belt, so
kind of knew what was going on.
So.
Were y'all in a different village?
We were in a different village. We went the opposite way. We went south, and different village. The atmosphere was pretty much the same. People coming out, a plaza, but this one, instead of just apartments, this was a business plaza. Okay. I mean, the first floor of everything on the ground
was business.
Right. And then there were things above it. Everything was multiple stories.
And I think there was a library that was off to one side.
And other buildings that you could walk through. It was just about anything you want right there.
Yeah.
There was also a splash pool.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that was in there in that plaza, and there was a soccer stadium that was just right past it.
So these folks have a lot of amenities that we would have. They're just a little bit different.
Compact.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I get out of the van last. I had taken to riding in the front of the white van in the passenger seat and talking to Jordan. Now, we called him Jordan. Jordan has had the J is pronounced as a yeah sound, but for sake here, I'll call him Jordan. He's the minister that focuses on Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about that kind of stuff. We bond. He bonded with several different people, but I spent a lot of windshield time with him right there. And so he and I get out of the van last. We're walking around following the crowd ahead of us. And I come across this guy sitting at a card table outside of a shop. It couldn't have been more than 10 feet wide, 12 feet wide at the most, 15 feet deep. It was a barber shop. This guy is sitting right outside the door. And as I walked past, we made eye contact. I said hello, and he nodded and smiled to me. And I kind of took another step, and I went, I can't let that go. So I turned around, and he's this quintessential little old man. He's there obviously for a haircut, but he's got a fedora, and he's got it sitting. It's a yellow straw hat fedora sitting on the table in front of him. And so I give him a state of Texas, and I start talking to him. Well, he can't understand me. I've got Jordan with me, and we're doing a little bit of. He's saying no, it's free. He thought I was
Trying to sell him.
trying to sell him something. No. So he takes that, and he takes my my witness statement.
Yeah,
my
testimony.
testimony. Thank you. And and so about that time, this very loud voice comes up behind us, speaking Albanian, and they obviously know each other. It's the owner of the bar. It's the barber. His name is Franco. That's how he introduces himself. And so I'm trying to speak to him. We're not communicating well, and Jordan is doing a little translation, and he's going to cut this guy's hair. And I said, well, maybe I need because my beard was a little longer then. And so I said, well, maybe I need a beard trim. I really did want one. But I was supposed to be in the plaza doing my thing there with everybody else. So, and he laughs, and there was just this connection. So I give him a Texas, and I give him my, what's it called? Testimony. I keep wanting to say witness
statement. Your witness.
Anyway, I give it to him. He goes inside, and he puts the state of Texas up on his mirror, right in front of his chair. And he puts the testimony, right, and I got it right that time, puts the testimony down there underneath it. And we just have a big time, and I say, thank you, and but I got to go. And I didn't say anything about coming to get me. But I'm up in the square a little bit later on. The night is fully engaged. And I look up from where I'm standing. Here comes Franco right at me.
Beeline.
Beeline. He's not wavering. He's not out for a stroll. He's coming for me. He's got, I had a picture taken with him. He's got a electric razor in one hand. He's got his scissors in the other one. And he's going, let's go, big boy. And so we had a couple pictures taken, and white-haired, just immaculately dressed. I mean, he's just.
Imagine if he would have seen me.
You go.
He's like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, that's right. And so this morning, Scott talked about these young men that were there with us each night, and they're in their 20s.
20s, yeah.
And they're very evangelical young men witnessing for Christ. And so they don't have to be there, but they are there. And one of them is one of the pastor's son. I think is he Artie's son? Artie's son. And they're friends. And so one guy's name is Samir.
Samir.
So I said, Samir, come here. And so he comes over. They all speak English very well. I said, you got to go with me. I'm going to go get my hair cut. I'm going to get my beard trimmed. You're what? Kind of thing. I said, you're supposed to be here. I'm going to witness. Come on. So he came with us, and we're talking all the way down, and Franco's just blabbering like I can understand every word he says. I can't. Well, we get in there. He puts me in the chair. We're the only ones. Samir, Franco, and me are the only ones in there. He puts me in the chair, and I do have pictorial evidence of this. I gave my phone to Samir and just sent my picture as we go, and video, whatever you want to do. So he puts me in the chair, and he just starts talking to me about my beard, like, what do you want to do with it? Samir telling this. We get it done. He knows what to do. Whips out his scissors, and he just starts going to town. And he's got the Texas there, and he's got my witness statement right there. And he's cutting and just talking. He never stops talking,
That's awesome.
which is okay with me. Excuse me.
But he and Samir are having,
and they're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And so I'm uninvolved, except I'm getting clipped.
Yeah.
And so when he finishes the beard, I think, okay, this thing is over. Then about that time, he's got another guy come in for a haircut. Walks in off the street. They're obviously friends. Hey, they have a big time. Have a seat. This guy, and I hear the word Texas, and so I know they're talking. And so he gets this other stuff, starts rubbing the top of my head, and he starts clipping my hair. I didn't ask for that. I'm going, okay, so do I need to stop him? I said, no, I don't. So he cuts my hair. He gets this something off the top shelf. He's shaking it in his hand, puts it on my face and rubs my hair and everything. And it smells pretty good.
It's good smelling.
And it's good smelling stuff. Old style barber.
Yeah.
And I have memories of that as a child, but old style barber stuff. And we have my picture taken with him. He does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't quite understand how I like this part thicker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, it grows back. But I got to witness to him, and I got to witness to his buddy that sat down later on. Pointed him to Christ, then I said, can I pray over you? Oh, yes. And so I got a chance to pray over him, Franco, and mentioning his buddy. And it was a good time. We had pictures taken. And so I was witnessing at a haircut instead of in the plaza.
And that was the coolest.
That's perfect.
Actually, that was the coolest
perfect
thing that happened that whole week.
So
I mean, there were some. I mean, to me, it was real emotional when I got out there on that Roman road and that
yes.
and those things. I mean, I can't describe it other than emotional. But when Eddie came back and started talking, I mean, there was no way I couldn't just beam smiling. I mean, it was so cool.
It was so cool. I was pumped up.
The fact that he came to find you.
Hey, I was sitting there watching him. I'm going, why is this guy walking at Eddie? And then I'm kind of moving. I'm kind of going over there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going over there towards Eddie.
And he's got stuff in his head.
Again, I'm sitting there. Wait a minute. Yeah. So, anyways, and then I see him grab Samir, which is somebody that I fell in love with him. Great guy, great sense of humor.
Yes,
very articulate. He was the one that I probably had the most conversations with. There was one other guy that was there that I did, but there again, I was just impressed with those young men. Their hearts, their dedication to it, them getting out there and
love of Christ, evangelizing.
Right.
The whole bit,
And I don't know I don't know what ever was said. Now Randy, well, I guess Jordan and Artie both were saying, the communities that we were in are primarily Muslim communities. These are primarily Muslims. There may be, some Eastern Orthodox, that's, kind of sprinkled in the middle, every now and again. But primarily you're in with Muslims. And not once did I hear anybody, get upset and holler and scream, infidel and, get out of the plaza or whatever. I never heard that.
No.
They treated us, most of the men that I was talking to and ladies that I was talking to, treated us like we were human beings.
It's
and
okay to be there.
Yeah.
And to give them a ticket and say, you need to try to win this
Yeah.
thing. And they were
they were
just excited about it.
Now that second night, there was a guy, and I don't know how to describe him other than he was the most. I don't know how to describe that cat. You know who I'm talking about?
Keep going.
He was the road hard, put up wet guy. I mean, his face was withered and weathered, and I mean,
He looked like leather.
yeah, he looked like somebody took a piece of rock and hit it a couple of times with a hammer and chisel, and then, I mean, he was
That's your face.
Yeah, he was a rough looking guy, and he was actually one of the sweetest guys that was there that night. There was I remember going up there and talking to him, and hey, I'm a Texan, I'm from Texas, and I showed him the Texas, and oh, cool, and
That really was a hook. It was amazing.
it was amazing. It was something that hey, can I give you this? It's for refrigerator magnet. Come here, come here, Samir.
And talk to my friends.
Yeah, or one of the guys, hey,
Yeah.
tell him,
I hear stories about when people travel around and jump around in the world, and y'all are just kind of assuring this that when people from the U.S. travel and they start talking about where they're from, it almost seems like everyone around the world knows where Texas is.
Yeah, I
And
think.
compared to the rest of the
Well,
US.
now there again, it was kind of bad for Kevin and Gayla, because they were from North Carolina, and they go, North Carolina, what the Texas? Yeah, Texas. We know Texas. So I always kind of felt bad, bad for them. They didn't have any little North Carolina magnets that they were handing out to. Well, it's on the East Coast and it's between South and
I heard them
Virginia.
describe that
Yeah.
to someone
Yeah.
at one point in time.
And then they're
They were
going, South Carolina and Virginia? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, they were wonderful people
Oh, they were great.
and
Yeah.
just blended
Yeah,
in so
Kevin
well.
had a great sense of humor.
And
Yeah, he and I hit it off pretty
Yeah.
quick. Eddie, we all three kind of have a warped sense of humor to begin with, and he was cool to hang out
I
with.
think it's a part of our charm.
Yeah.
You know?
Being up there. Yeah, what was it? It was the second day that we were there in Albania when we were. No, that was the third day when we were up there in the ruins. Yeah, the third day that we were in Albania, and that was just. If I start choking up and tearing up, please forgive me, please excuse me. But that's the kind of experience that was.
But
I mean-
what he's talking about, and just to set it, I said it this morning, when the Romans took over the world, I mean the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, they'd all had their opportunity, and Romans took over. One of the things that they did, they built highways.
Mm-hmm.
They ensured safety. They made a path for people to travel
Right.
that was pretty well guarded, because in this area, Illyricum, or Illyria,
Illyria, yeah,
in the Bible, it's mentioned twice in the Bible.
right.
It's also called Dalmatia.
Mhm.
But the thieves and robbers and
There
bad
they
guys.
well,
and everything.
yeah.
So you traveled on these roads. Now this bridge that he's about to tell you about, there's two of them in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is just right there up on the hill. We walked up the side of a mountain, and there's tombs for Romans.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a Roman road, and there's still stones from that in the ground right
Oh
there.
my
You can see them. And I put one up on the screen this
Yeah.
morning
Yeah.
in class. And every once in a while you see another one, but there was these big stones. These guys came up the mountainside and walked over the mountain down to the other part, and then went
Yeah,
over the bridge.
Right.
And people die. Tombs up here. And there was one that looked like it was a bath.
Yeah, looked like almost like a baptismal.
Or even a baptismal.
Yeah. Now, I would assume it's probably some sort of
Yeah.
bath.
Roman bath.
Right. Now, and there had to have been some sort of township, city,
There had to be
whatever it
something
was
there, yeah. There.
that was there, and we didn't go all the way up to the summit of that hill. We probably were 3/4
At
of
least,
the
I
way,
think. It felt like that to me.
at least up the side of that mountain where we see all of this stuff. And you could look back down in the valley, but I was kind of standing right on the road, and I was just looking at the direction that you could tell that path was cut. And there's just a beautiful mountain that's in front of you, kind of swayed up into going up into the mountains. And it just struck me that Paul probably stood in this spot and saw that, or could possibly have stood in that spot and saw exactly what I was seeing.
And then there's no proof of that, and we know that.
Right.
But at the same time, it
That
is
would
the
have been a
road
road.
that led to the
The
bridge that led to the place where he wanted to go.
Right.
And so,
And then he started from probably the port, started with a D. I can't remember the name of that port, but that would have been his entry point into that part of the world.
To get around up to
Right. And then him walking up.
Athens and all that.
Right.
and he
Him
said
walking up that-
and he said in Romans,
Right.
I went all over Dalmatia, and I fully preached the gospel.
Right.
And so he got around.
He was in that area. So
It's possible.
Jeremy, it was just something about standing there
That's amazing.
and having that wash over me
Mm-hmm.
was about the most humbling experience that I'd ever experienced. I mean, it was.
Well, he not only looked at that, he was on the same kind of mission, spreading the news about Christ.
Right.
Now, he was at a different level
Right.
than what we were doing, you think?
Yeah, we kicked sand around compared to what he did.
But,
yeah. Exactly.
He's seeing that with a vision. This is why I came to preach Christ and preach Him crucified.
Right.
And he stood on Mars Hill. He'd done all kinds of stuff. But I'm here to preach you the gospel.
Yeah.
And that's why we were there. And you're right, it was a very humbling experience. But when you turned around from the tombs and you looked and you saw this expanse below you, my eye also said, all these mountains have moved.
Right.
But the path through and the one that we came up appeared to be the one of least resistance, if that's what it was.
Right.
But here's the road with proof. This was the road
Right.
through here. And Paul wasn't dumb. He's not going to go off the path and try to make a shortcut, which is up and down mountains like this.
Right, in territory that he didn't know anything about.
And there were robbers and thieves and all that kind of stuff. He's going to stay on the road.
Right.
So I think there's a good chance, but maybe not. But it still struck all of us. And I think Scott elucidated that the best in how it washed over him. And then when we got to the bridge, let's do that part next. Just tell them about the bridge. Maybe 3 miles from where we were.
Yeah, crow flies, it couldn't have been that far.
No, it would have been probably less, probably one.
Yeah,
at the
probably
most.
less than a mile crow flies. But yeah, that time we, did this, trying to get off that hill, yeah, it was probably 3 miles. Yeah, actually, I got to drive some while we were there, and I've never driven cutbacks. It was almost, you'd turn almost on yourself, when you were coming
It was
back.
a literal hairpin.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, there was just this bridge out there in the middle of nowhere, fully standing, fully operational. I mean, you could have driven a car over that thing. I mean, it was as sturdy a thing as I'd ever seen built. Now, you could tell that there was some stuff that was there that was added probably after to reinforce it. But for the most part, it was a triple arc. So they had an arch and then an arch and then an arch, where the highest arch was the peak of the bridge. You could see the keystone, which I thought was real cool. You could point out that keystone almost instantly. And, that keystone is essentially the thing that's holding the whole
Right.
arc together.
It has for 2,000
Yeah,
years.
for 2,000 years.
Well,
It's the
2000
only-
plus. I mean,
Yeah.
Rome took over
Yeah, that part of the world.
what 200 something BC,
Yeah.
300 something BC, around there.
Around in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I think a little less than that, but right around
Well,
it.
yeah. So who knows how long that bridge has really been there?
Yeah. So anyways, it's the only one that's actually standing, full standing, isn't it? Or there are two.
There's two.
There's two somewhere in Europe that are, but that's one of the
That's
two
one of the two.
I'm
that's
gonna Google
that's
this
free
bridge.
freestanding.
And it's still got a river running right there.
right underneath it.
And
Yeah.
no telling how deep it was during that time, but
Right.
it was still free flowing.
Yeah, it was flowing. It was a flowing river, and most of that stuff I never did see any snow, so I'm assuming that all of that stuff is spring fed somehow. Somewhere up in the mountains is some springs that just have to be phenomenal size springs.
Now, I did see on YouTube some videos of travel and that type of stuff, that in Albania there are springs that just literally gush
Gush up, yeah.
millions of gallons just coming out of that thing year
Yeah.
after year.
Yeah.
And
Well, a lot of where you have mountains and snow, a lot of what you see is snow runoff,
Right.
Snow melt. But I'm assuming that it probably gets snowy up there at some point, but I never did see any signs of anything that was
well, when we
long.
left, I did see a report that said there's snow up in the Alps,
Right.
the Albanian
Alps, which was a little bit further,
which was a little further west,
north.
more north.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the leaves, even outside of our hotel, in
Were
that bank
changing.
of trees,
Yeah.
they changed dramatically in that 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah, you could
It was
tell
there.
that fall was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it cooled off,
Yeah.
especially at night. It apparently rained more. We got rained out
Yeah,
twice.
and some people had to have jackets. I'm not going to
Some
say
people
anything.
did.
Some people had to have jackets
And there were some
raincoats.
that didn't even bring one.
Right, there were some.
Now, I'm not going to name any names, but his initials are Scott Lehman.
I can
Okay.
say that I probably wouldn't have brought a jacket.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have stand out there cold too, and you wouldn't have admitted it, just like he did.
Actually, I wasn't cold at all, and it was fun. But I also got to experience something,
Right.
So
It was well worth the going.
it was
It sounds like
it was 100% worth the go.
But,
and
but
I'd go.
the big deal, for me, still between Scott and I, is just that Lake Orchid. Just that huge expanse of lake, and we got to sit on a bench every morning, like a little quiet time.
Yeah.
People walked by; they didn't bother us.
No.
There was a guy selling vegetables, right, 30,
Yeah.
40 feet in front of us.
Yeah.
Didn't bother anything. And we just got to sit there, and if we didn't want to talk, we just didn't. But most of the time we did. But it was just there.
Right.
And we got to see that every day. And there's people in that town. I know you get numbed to it.
Right.
We certainly did not.
No.
So
No, that was something that was worth seeing and worth doing. Getting a chance just to hang with Eddie was a good time.
and people drank coffee like crazy.
I bet I'd drink I hope my doctor never watches this. I bet I drank a gallon of coffee every day.
But see, and I don't drink coffee at all. I don't get it, and but I've learned to keep my mouth shut about it.
It was some good coffee. It was good coffee.
But people are just They loved it.
Yeah, they didn't. They'd look at you funny for a cup of coffee that big.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
most of them.
they're like that.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, and that was a big.
That was a big.
Yeah. And most of them were, you know, espresso cups.
Mm-hmm.
Bread with every meal.
Yep.
Different kind of bread, different textures,
Mhm.
different flavors.
Yep.
Different ethnic food.
Their cheeses were just outstanding.
And the tomatoes were right in season. We hit it just right. They were deep, red, and delicious.
Yeah.
And
actually tastes like a tomato.
yes, and then Ken went crazy over them. He if somebody wasn't going to eat their tomatoes, he took them.
Yeah. And
So-
actually, I think he ordered some.
Ordered some extras.
Well, he ordered some seeds. He's gonna.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He actually ordered seeds.
Yeah.
Now, he ordered, and he's going to share it with me, but he ordered seeds from Albania online through a
Yeah.
seed catalog. He's going to have them shipped to his house. They're probably already there.
Yeah.
And he's going to freeze them, bag them, and then we're going to plant Albanian tomatoes next year.
Well, and I got to find out about chestnuts, which was fun.
Yeah. And he didn't even have an open fire roasting anything.
Oh, I got
And
to
Jack
eat-
Frost wasn't there.
nibbling
nipping at
that
his
nowhere near. Well, it's a long way to get to this, so I'll just quick as I can. Having a father who was an English professor and loved British literature, I got inundated with British literature, and there's a poet. His name is A.E. Housman. And he has a poem called "The Chestnuts Cast Its Flambeau." And although they weren't blooming, I'd never been exposed to a chestnut tree, so I actually got to see a chestnut, you know. And now I want to grow one. You know, now I want one here.
And they've got a baseball. He described it. It's a baseball-sized piece of fruit. And it's got little spines coming out, prickly spines coming out all over it. It looks like one of those puffer fish.
Yeah,
You know?
it inflated.
It does.
Yeah.
But there's a nut in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And these guys went down the mountainside a little ways amongst a grove of chestnut trees.
Yeah, and wound up picking some chestnuts, which was outstanding. And then, you know, Artie was showing me, this is how you eat them, and sitting there eating a raw chestnut, standing out there in the chestnut orchard, which was just
In Albania.
in Albania, which was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know how to not smile when I say that.
And and for me, just the people there displayed an openness. I know Scripture says, that we don't pursue God, and I believe that. But I know He calls us.
Mm-hmm.
I know that He, chooses, and He draws us out, His Holy Spirit, and draws us to where we're open to Him. And I think I would say that I saw an openness there, that Christ is working and the Holy Spirit is working there.
Yep.
And there was an open, excuse me, especially among the, I'm sorry about this cough. But when communism fell in the late 80s, Civil War, and then not just Albania but Macedonia next door had to decide who are they going to be. When the Soviets left, it left a vacuum. Who's going to take over? And they both chose republics. Albania is a constitutional republic, just like America, just like we are. We are not a democracy. And the same with Macedonia. So they're free votes. All that stuff happens, and they have a unicameral in Albania. They have a unicameral Congress, or one house instead of two like we have. And they are a struggling nation to get on their feet. Excuse me. I got to go to Berlin in Germany, in East Germany, to a lot of those former Soviet satellites in '93, just 4 years after the fall. And people were struggling with free enterprise. That's what they longed for. They wanted to be successful. but they were just clumsy. It was this square peg in a round hole
Right.
kind of thing, and it was eventually rounding enough to get in there, and that's what I saw in these people, that they were open to God's word. They were open to have somebody approach them and just talk to them. We didn't have to have an argument.
No.
We could have a civil conversation.
Actually, I think Tim was the only one that got into anything that was close to that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
And you know, Tim wasn't gonna sit there and argue in a foreign language. So just kind of went, you know. And I don't think the guy was trying to push it.
Yeah.
He was a son of an emir, I think, or child. Yeah.
So
I think it was that second night.
overall, trip was successful. I mean, as far as mission work is concerned,
Sounds like it.
great opportunity. Did I lead someone directly to Christ? The answer is no. But I wasn't there long enough to get that done. But I know I planted seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I planted seeds unusually. That wasn't my goal to do that.
Right.
But opportunity came my way, because when that guy sat outside that barbershop, I took an extra step beyond him, and I said, no, I'm going to go back and talk to him. And I did, and it led the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you a story of the last night out at the Palisade, what I call the Palisade. They're in Progradets, where we were staying, that there was a man that came up to me. He was standing there kind of shivering. It was raining a little bit. So I went to him, and I started talking to him. He had no English. And but I gave him the Texas and John 3. You know, I told him, and then here's my testimony. He put it in his pocket, and I said, can I? And I just said,
Mm-hmm.
and he's, yes. I mean, he was at, yes. So I did. And I prayed over him. I put my arm around him. I prayed over him. And I had 200 lek in my pocket that I didn't think about. 200 lek is next to nothing as far as that's concerned. But that's all the walking around money I happen to have at that particular point in time. You don't give people American money because it's hard for them to exchange it.
Mm.
But I didn't think about the lek. And so we stood there. I kind of tried to talk to him some more, but I couldn't. And then he walked away, and I walked away. And by the time I got to the other side, I said, you know what? I should have given him that money, even if he could buy him a cup of coffee. So I went back to find him, and he had disappeared. I mean, just off the face of the earth. And I didn't tell you or anybody else. I guess I told Debbie, so because she was, where have you been, kind of thing on her face. And I said, I left the compound. I left this thing. And I went up and down those streets over there looking for this guy. And that's not to brag on myself, but that's to make the point to me, and maybe to other people, take the opportunity.
Right.
Take it. Because
You
there's
may
still a
not-
part of me that feels like I missed an opportunity to do something that was concrete for him.
Mm-hmm.
He understood the praying part. And I know the Holy Spirit's going to take that and use it, and that's... But I couldn't find him, and it upset me very much. And I went off in some dark places. And I know what the guy looks like. I know what he had on. But that guy,
It's vanished.
he just vanished.
Hmm.
But I felt like that was a failure. I mean, and I know, get over yourself, it really is not. But I felt like that would have been a good thing to do too. So, highs and lows, witnessing, and sometimes swinging a miss,
A good haircut.
a good haircut, and
2 bits.
oh, I forgot to say the end of that. I said, how much? And he reaches in his till, Franco reaches in his till, shows me a $10 bill. I said, okay. So I reached him for all that. And so I reached in my pocket and I gave him a 20. He goes, oh, no. And I turned around to Samir and I said, you tell him this. I said, it was an honor to get my hair cut. And so I said, this made my heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
It made my heart happy that I could talk to you about Jesus. And when Samir translated it, he just goes, that's exactly, his face just,
Big old bear hug.
Big old bear hug. And so, yes, from that to I missed it.
Yeah.
But God can use what we do, even our misses.
Mm-hmm.
He can use.
He can use. He can use and work them out. And I will not forget either Franco or the other guy.
Mm.
And so, what do you do? Was the other guy real? I don't know. I know he was, but he needed something, and
That might have been all he needed. You never know.
That's all I gave him. And so God uses even our mistakes, if that was a mistake. And I know it's not. In the end, I know it's not.
Right.
But still, you want to do like they do on cartoons and open up a box and a big boxing glove comes out and hits you right in the snoot and help you learn your lesson, but that doesn't always work either.
It was a once in a lifetime experience.
Oh, I don't know, Scott. We may go back.
Well, I don't think it'll ever be the same as going back. I mean, it won't be the same as that first time, and I'd fight a circle saw for those people there. But the first time that I looked out over that lake, and just there again, the emotion that swept over me, the beauty of it, how can you deny a God? That wasn't an accident. That beauty had a mind behind it.
And that was part of our conversation for several days.
There's a mind behind that beauty.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
well, guys, we are well past an hour. I don't know how much, but I have thoroughly enjoyed hearing y'all talk. It was definitely a mission worth going, and without and just to hear y'all talk, and without question, it was a mission worth going.
I bet.
So thank y'all for being here. I'm glad to have y'all back. I'm glad y'all got back safe.
Yeah,
I'm sure the spouses are glad y'all are back too.
Yep.
She was.
So as far as topics coming up, I think we're going to do a couple more potluck topics, and before we dive into the Sermon on the Mount, but that is going to be our next extended study.
Sweet.
So for the Areopagus group, I thank them and y'all for joining, and we'll see y'all next week.